Yo, 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 what's going on, you guys? It is Coach Ike, and I wanted to bring some more value to you guys. So we starting a new segment, all right? I have a special guest who we're gonna talk to. Um, so something you guys can get some information from along their journey. I can't wait for this guest. You guys make sure to share this with your friends. Tell people who are not in the DB membership, they need to get in. All right. I'm adding value. We're going to start talking about finances, more drills. I want you guys' feedback. So make sure that you guys are communicating and let me know what you guys want. So before I let my guests in, my guy from Pasadena, from where we from, okay, plays at a very high level. The only difference is he went to the rival high school. He went to John Muir High School, but became a sack dog. All right. So both went to Mount Sac, won a championship, something we both have in common. Also plays the position of cornerback. It's a blessing and an honor to present my man, Tyquwan Glass. Glass, who has also, he currently plays in the CFL, currently a free agent. So without further ado, I'm going to add my man, Tyquwan Glass. Man, what's up? What's good? What's good, man?
There we go. What's going on, Ness? How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. I was just giving you an intro, man, telling them where you from Pasadena. Went to John Muir. I said, this the only thing we don't have in common is you
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
Muir. That's the only thing. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling right now. Had a little workout earlier, so now I'm just relaxing, enjoying the day.
Bad, man, bad. Well, I appreciate you sitting down, man, and taking the time out. Thank you for sharing with our audience, man, and we appreciate you, and we're gonna get right into it, man.
All right,
So
all right.
so for people who do not know, this is Tyquwan Glass right here, okay? Pasadena legend, all right? And that's my first question. Just how was it growing up in Pasadena and your household? Tell us that experience for you.
What's it? Growing up with a single mother, father passed away when I was 11. So um, household was just, me and my cousins, my uncle, big household. So knowing that, like, trying to have our own area, our own space, own rooms and things like that, already knowing like, all right, my mom will always all want to just be cramped, one room. So already,
Mhm.
wanting to be able to help moms out, a lot of people, be having their hard times and stuff. So knowing that, knowing I can change our lives and try to do certain things with school and things like that. So um just that with the family and things, and then having cousins and people around me, brothers and sisters, just being athletic and just playing around and doing all that. So that's where you learn all your skill sets, and what's good for you and what's bad for you. Learn from your bigger cousins, and what I'm saying. So that's as far as like having a household, making sure I never want to like upset my mom. So, when I go to
Mhm.
school and do those type of things, being sports, being in Pasadena, a lot of things, a lot of, you know, uh gang situations and robberies and things like that around. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't want to be in that area, but then you also, want to know where you're from. So
Mhm.
I think, wanting to get away from all that, that was just already one thing that was in my mind. So having that mindset of, like I said, not disappointing my mom and just making sure I do those type of things, so I wouldn't be one of those statistics. So that was just one thing that really motivated me out of, from my household, and just not having my father. So looking up to my uncles, my cousins, and all the male role models in my life, trying to make sure that I, just do those things to not disappoint my family.
Got you. And I'm glad you brought that up because we know a lot of talented people, especially from Pasadena. Um, and for you not to have a father, but of course, other men who stepped up for you to lead you and help you and guide you, how do you separate the I want to be with my friends, but I know like we going on different paths. Like you see a friend, you grew up together, but you see he's starting to go down a different road and you want something different. Are you able to keep that relationship or do you have to kind of like cut it off and like, I have to go this way and I'll love you from afar. How do you
Yeah.
navigate that?
So already, if that's being a friend, you know how like you don't want to go down that road. So you got to figure out like, is this really my friend or is this really somebody who just is around for the time being, just for me to
Hmm.
be around when I'm by myself. But when it comes to like, if he going down the wrong road, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in that situation. So you got to start separating yourself. You got to figure it out. Like, what is it that I want? What is
Hmm.
it that what's my goals? So, if that person is not in the same area as you or in like in the same boat as you, then you got to like start to separate yourself, and it could be certain things that that y'all two like to do that's obviously positive, but everything y'all can't do together. So
Yeah, yeah.
you kind of just gotta separate the certain areas on when y'all hang out and things like that. And if it's not nothing, you just gotta cut that person off and start finding people who are doing what you love to do. That's why, like, you know growing up, that's why I found a lot of my friends and a lot of people who, like, I never knew became my close friends through football,
Hmm.
because we're on the same road, and then we start having the same struggles. We start having the same, like, problems and things like that, or
Yeah.
the same, like, positive things that happen. So it's like, and then the football is a small world, so once you know somebody, then they be like, oh well, I know this person too. That's like, that's my cousin, that's my cousin's best
Hmm.
friend.
Hmm.
So you definitely got to separate yourself with doing the right things, and you got
Yeah.
to pay attention too, because a lot of people try to steal that joy from you, try to steal like your dreams, because
Nah,
once they figure
for
out that
sure.
you about to start doing better things, then you got to be like, all right, like I said, is this my friend or is this a person who just want to be around me just for the time being, to steal my joy, to steal my, like, my brain, pick my brain, and
Hmm.
those type of things.
Now that's big. I realized once I got older, and I've heard this pastor say it, he was like, you know who a true friend is because they help you with your vision. They help you reach it. And if people are not helping you, they're not supposed to be in your life. So I'm glad you brought that up. So prior to me moving on, did you ever think, with the situation that's going on at home, did you ever think like I needed to make it, to help? Was that ever a thought when you was younger? Like, I want to help out. So make it to the league, make it to professional, so I can help with my family. Was that ever a thought when you was growing up?
Yeah, I mean, it was just more to like, I wanna make my mom proud. So,
Hmm.
but as I started getting older, it's things that you want to do, but then it's, things don't go how you plan it. So
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
start getting older, and I'm like, just the way my journey was going, I'm like, all right, well, if I can't do that, if I can't buy my mom a house or anything, then let me go ahead and make sure that I'm just staying in school, make sure I'm not in the
Hmm.
streets, make sure I'm not, giving her more things to, um, worry about, basically.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if being her only son, if I'm good, if I'm making sure I'm doing all what I need to do, that's one less worry she got to,
Hmm.
so. um yeah, so I was just like, you know what? I want to be able to help her and be able to move out the house and everything, but my my situation needed to happen faster than that. So I was just like, you
Yeah.
know what? I could just, as I do it, as I get to where I need to go, I could just, give here, and do, what I need to do and help her out in those situations. So that definitely was in my mind of like, I want to help her get out, get out of this situation. It wasn't a
Gotcha.
terrible situation, but everybody want to live comfortable. Everybody want to, have their own space, and
Exactly. You want better not only for your family but for yourself and then going forward because I mean, like you said, it's about getting better with time and doing things. And of course, we definitely want to take care of our parents.
for
Um,
sure.
so I want to transition now. Growing up in Pasadena, you shared that experience. Now we're in high school, okay? So share that process during high school and then share the recruiting process. Like how did that work out for you at Mir?
All right, so shoot, first, man, ninth grade, you were playing from the Panthers up, and playing football all my life, playing basketball, playing all these sports. Man, my ninth grade, I didn't even play football. So I was
Hmm.
skateboarding. I was skateboarding and playing basketball because me and my best friend, we was playing basketball. So I'm like, all right, like I see I can make it in basketball. Like I'm doing good in basketball or whatever, and I'm skateboarding. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, these two, because me, honestly, myself, I wasn't the biggest. I'm still ain't
Hmm.
the biggest, but So as in like ninth grade, you know, when you in Pop Warner and all that, everything's about hitting, everything about being bigger. So
Yeah.
when I was thinking about that, I'm like, man, I'm little, so I'm about to just, you know, keep doing what I'm doing, playing my basketball and baseball and things like that. So ninth grade, I didn't play football. 10th grade, then I ended up playing football, and I'm like, all right, you know, like this ain't too bad. So 10th
Hmm.
grade, I started on JV. So I played JV. Um, and then my 11th grade year, I ended up moving up. So now I'm in football. I'm still playing basketball. I'm still playing baseball. But you know, as in high school, you know, when you play football, everybody knows track comes with that if you're not already
Hmm.
fast.
Yeah.
So, you know, so baseball and track is in the same. So I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, I gotta figure this out. You know, I can't go to track practice and then baseball practice. So so I still playing football now. So now it's just football and baseball because I didn't run track at Mirror at all.
Yeah.
So so now you know 11th grade year, I'm like, all right, like as football is going, I'm like, man, I kind of got a future in this. Like my first year on JV, and I mean first year on bar, and I'm like. I used to doubt myself a lot. So I'm like, man, what am I doubting myself for? I could
Hmm.
play with these dudes. I played with all these dudes growing up in Pop
Yeah.
Warner and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, so football started getting serious for me. So now, but this being my first year, I'm not getting, calls or I'm not, because it was also on myself, on my grades and what I was doing. So
Hmm.
knowing that, I didn't have nothing just yet, I was like, all right, well, I still got another year. So I can just make sure I'm taking care of my grades and making sure that I'm doing, these things in school because obviously you can't play football without your grades.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm like, all right, I gotta start getting serious because now my senior year coming up and I'm seeing all these coaches and hearing, of my other teammates, getting these offers and stuff like that, going to these camps and things like that. So I'm like, why am I not getting all that? So the recruitment process was real slow for me. So then we get to my senior year. So now I'm like, all right, from that summer, I'm like, all right, this is my last year. Been doing summer workouts, we got the passing leagues and things like that.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm on top of everything. I'm making sure I'm to these workouts to everything because now I'm like, it's serious. And then so first game we play San Gabriel. I go off. We went out there and smashed them too, like 55 to like something. We popped them. So I come out with 2 picks and like 8 tackles, 9 tackles.
Hmm.
So I'm like, all right, this is a great first start.
Hmm.
Man, that second week going in on September 11th, 2011.
Oh,
I
today.
ended up the day, man. It was a situation going on with the team, and when two dudes want to fight, we don't let them fight. We just ended up we find another way to do those type of things, and it just wasn't the right way. So I ended
Hmm.
up like with the long story with that, I ended up breaking my leg my senior year. So that really got slow for me with the recruiting process. So now, I broke my leg. I missed the season. I'm still going to the games. I'm still like, supporting my teammates, but it was just tough, man. Um, so I missed the whole season, and then I forgot how I ended up getting into the to this All Star game though. So this was in September when I broke it. So obviously I'm out the whole season, and then by January or February, now I'm able to be take my process of getting back to walking and things like that.
Hmm.
And so now I'm walking now, so June comes and actually I think it was like April or May now we practicing for this all-star game that I have
Yeah.
ended up getting into. So I think it's the San Gabriel Valley all-star game.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I ended up getting in that and playing in that. And now, after that, still, what I'm saying, the recruiting process was so I really didn't have nothing as far as the recruiting process. Like, coaches would try to help me out here and there, but it wasn't too much that, Tyquwan Glass had on film to get towards the recruiting process.
Hmm.
So here come JUCO. So
Got
we
you.
go,
Got you.
yeah,
And that's awesome because it's a lot of people, they might get injured or things just don't work out, doesn't pan out as they thought. They thought they was gonna go D1. Everybody's D1, D1. And when it doesn't happen, then it just goes down in the tank. Oh, I'm done. It's over with. I'm a failure. But just like both of us, we both went to JUCO because it was when it was time for me to come out, it was like, where am I going to go? I had offers, but they wanted me to walk on. I'm like, I'm not putting my parents through that. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to go do this JUCO route. And the crazy thing about it, how I got to Mount Sac, and then I'm going to ask you, how did you get to Mount Sac? One of the best, best JUCOs in all of California and probably all the nation when it comes to championships. I was planning
For
on going to
sure.
Fullerton. And Fullerton, the only reason why I was going to go to Fullerton, I was playing flag football with my brother in the league. And the coach, he actually played on our team. So his nephew, the year before I got there, his nephew just had 10 interceptions, like broke the record in JUCO football. So I'm not sure. I'm about to go to Fullerton. He's like, Ness, we're going to have you playing along with him, this and then blah, blah. All I know is Austin Daniels, my boy, other corner.
AD. Yeah.
He's like, Ness, bro. He's like, I'm about to pick you up. I'm at HS. I'm at school. He's like, I'm about to pick you up. What you talking about? He's like, hey, Coach Meat said to pick you up. We about to go up to Mount Sac just to watch practice. I'm like, huh? Like, he's like, bro, just have your cleats. Like, I'm not even knowing what's going on. I go
Right.
up there. We actually practice, and the rest is history. We actually go up to Mount Sac, do my 2 years, win a championship, whatnot. But what made you choose Mount Sac out of all the schools? And then what were some takeaways at Mount Sac for you? What was your experience like?
Man, it's crazy, bro, because like I ain't really thought about this in so long. So like it bring up the joy in me because it's like, damn, like that was a whole process. But man, so being from Pasadena, everybody already go to PCC, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to get that built up. So, I ended up going to PCC knowing like, that's not one of the best schools. And, at the time it wasn't one of the, so I'm like, all right, let me go see here because at the time I'm not driving either.
Yeah.
So my mom stays out that way, but that was like a 15-minute drive still. So I'm like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
well, what's convenient for me? So go to PCC, whatever, went there, seeing all that. And I'm like, all right, nah, let's see, what's next. And I'm going to Citrus. Citrus a little closer, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so we go to Citrus and see what's going on. Like, okay, well, Citrus might be, a possibility because it's not too far from, but so now I think actually I don't know if that's either further or closer, but anyway, like that's still a little way. So uh man, Jason Arnold, he was like he ended up getting my
Mayonnaise.
number. Mayonnaise, man, Jason Arnold. He was like, hey man, come to Mount Sac, bro. Like come see, come see what they talking about and things like that. And then I also seen Jeff Bonds, I seen Dennis Rufus, I seen y'all, bro. So I'm like, you know what? All right, and Amir Owens. I'm like, man, these dudes they from the city,
Mm-hmm.
So let me see what's going on. And I really didn't, know too much about Mount Sac. So now I'm still in high school. So I go see, we go see and Coach Turk too. So, they drove me out there. We it was actually me, Rye, and Jamari. So we all out there, whatever. And we go see him and we like, man, they own it right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Coach Rod out there with the blowhorn, everybody listening, everybody in line, like they just own their stuff. So I'm like, all right, like, this seemed like a program, like, school or whatever, out of what I done seen from the other teams. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing that and everything, and I'm like, all right, so now it's my first year. So I want to say it was me, Rye, and Squirm. Oh no, not in Squirm yet. But so yeah, my first year now I'm like, all right, well, I got, people who I'm gonna be able to, go with and things like that. We had
Mm-hmm.
Rocky too, Rocky Moore. So he was
Yeah.
like a big part of it. Corey Collins too. That was a big part because, they stay in Pasadena. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my ride right there. So at this point, I'm like, man, this all happening for a reason. We get in contact and things like that. And it's like, all right, well, we're gonna go to Mount Sac. They got a
Mm-hmm.
good football team, we got Rise there, and we all from Dina. So let's all
Yeah.
go as a pack and let's go out there and, be top out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that was my first year, being there. So throughout that whole thing, just as far as that happening. So, went there. Um, so I actually did 3 years there because I had the red shirt. Because,
Mm-hmm.
again, having to take courses and when you're not really serious. Well, I won't say serious, but you fail in life. You fail with
Yeah.
things in life,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying? So I ended up, not not passing certain classes that I had to take. So as it gets time to 2013, I had the red shirt. So,
Mhm.
watching them and wait, do you want me to get into that part yet, or is that just still like how I got
No,
to
you
Mount
can you
Sac?
can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. So I mean, just around 2013, 2012 was a cool year. As a freshman, started. I was out there, like I said, with Dennis Rufus, Jeff Bonds, Pasadena dude, and it was a cool experience. And knowing like,
Mhm.
this is they sophomore year and things like that. So coming in as a freshman, I'm like, but I know these dudes. I know I could play with them and things like that. So that was my first year. We ended up going first round, losing to Bakersfield. So now my second year, like I said, I had the red shirt. So 2013, I was just that's when I realized like, man, I gotta sit back and really like focus and buckle down if I really want to make this football thing my lifestyle.
Nah, for
So
sure. Sure.
so like throughout that process, man, uh Coach Ula, Coach Yona, Coach Johnson, all them coaches out
Mhm.
there was like, we all really had a sit down talk. Like, do you want to play football? Like, you got to pass these classes. So I ended up going signing up and being in a like a tutoring group.
Mhm.
So I had to do that, and it was just like, bro, I gotta focus up. So taking these classes, going to tutoring, like I said, going back into the 2013 season. Uh, it was buckle down year. So now it was just like, all right, after this, like, what's gonna happen? How am I about to make sure that I make my dreams and my goals come true? What I just been,
Mhm.
kind of focused on since I was 5, since I've
Yeah.
been playing football. So like I said, like that was just a buckle down season. So sat out, passed my classes, made up classes, and never missed a semester. So we going spring, summer,
Mhm.
fall, winter,
Yep.
straight through it because that's what you got to do when
Yeah.
you got your
Yeah.
eyes on the prize. You got to make sure you're doing that. So that was that process, and then 2014 took care of itself because I was already on that road of taking
Mhm.
care of my. Oh, and I was also in that year when I sat out. I was still going to practice. I still
Yeah.
made sure that was one of my classes because I still want to practice. I want to know them
Mhm.
plays. I want to make sure like once 2014 come, like it ain't nothing you gonna be able to tell me. So
Exactly. Exactly.
2014 came, and that's why it was just like it looked like it was so easy because
Mhm.
it was taking care of my classes, knowing the plays, and having just a great bond with the team. Not just like my DB group, not just my safeties, defense, my team, like offense and defense. We was just like on one click. So at 2014, uh, we ended up winning the ship. We ended up
Mhm.
state championships. I want to say what 12-2 or 11-2, something like that. But we ended up winning it, man. So that was just that whole Mount Sac process and JUCO process of you know having to have that patience, having to have
Mhm.
like just write my goals down and just remember what I wanted to do. And like it's always humps and curves in the road on what you want to do. But if you really want it, then you got to go ahead and buckle down.
Now, for sure. And I share all the time with kids. I'm like, man, if you go that JUCO route, it's all on you. I mean, it's totally on you. So if you mess up, and I've seen it a lot, and I shared this with guys when I got to the University of Middle Tennessee. I'm like, man, it's a lot of JUCO dudes who are great, and you won't hear about them just because life happens.
Right.
Somebody have a baby, they can no longer play, they got to provide. They go to jail, they get arrested, whatever it is, just life happens, and it is tough. And for you, it's going to happen. For you to fall down and get back up, that just shows how patient, how dedicated you are. Because I went through that same process. I think my second semester after the season was over, I got all D's, and I was a qualified out of high school in Louisville, New Mexico. They coming up to me like, we're gonna sign you this and that. They never signed me. Now it eventually cost me going to Illinois, but by me not taking care of my grades that whole semester, I just learned from it. It wasn't like, oh man, I should be here. I was like, all right, I learned from it. I got to keep moving forward. So, man, for you to keep pushing on, especially sitting out a whole year in June, man, that's tough. you definitely got to be motivated. And the car pulling along from Pasadena back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hated that with a passion, man. That was Mount Sac was like the hardest part of my life. I'm not even gonna
For
lie, but
sure, for sure.
looking back on it, I was like, man, I missed it so much because everybody was grinding. We knew what the goal was. And I had dudes, all of us who was carpooling, we knew what it was about and we kept each other accountable. So that was the great part.
Yeah, and just
So,
like to before we move on from that, it was just like too just as far as like, because I forgot to mention like through so 2014, like, my sophomore year, my last year, I ended up, being able to drive and things like that, getting my car and stuff like that.
mhm,
So now I'm 15 minutes away. But then, like I said, our team was just so, close.
yeah,
So, after practice and things like that, once we done, we didn't go straight home. Like if they was riding with me, we went over to the dorms and we was kicking it with the boys and stuff, making that team bonding. So
got you.
once that was a thing, bro, that's when it was like, all right, like we know we could depend on each other, like
Mhm,
everybody. So, when like, we got dudes coming from everywhere because Mount Sac was one of them schools.
yeah,
Mount Sac, one of
yeah.
them schools. So we got dudes from Texas, Florida, from Hawaii, things like that, and they are far from home. They got family,
Mhm,
kids, and all that. So, when we was able to look out, when they living in the dorms, we looking out for them,
yeah.
giving them here and there, helping them with food and things like that. So I just want to, say that too, because, when it comes to, and I mean, it ain't always going to be like that too, but you
Yeah,
just
for
know when,
sure.
when you got your team, and you got like good people around you, just make sure you do what you can do for them as they'll do for you.
Big time, man, big time. And that's awesome you said that. So y'all win a chip at Mount Sac. You choose Fresno State. How did Fresno State come about and what made you choose Fresno State?
So now, like I said, we win a championship at Mount Sac. Now, what's that in the fall? So, like I said, my first year wasn't the best year. So when it come to, making up them classes and making sure that from there on, trying to pass these classes, trying to, make sure that happens after the fall, they're like, all right, I took my college math and everything, the classes that I need to get into these D1 colleges.
Mhm.
So, in my mind, like you said, we want to go D1, D1, D1. So, knowing that I felt like, I deserve that. All the hard work that I'm putting in and, making sure that like like I said too, me not failing, making sure that when it comes to thinking about my family, thinking about myself, thinking about those things, like man, I gotta do this shit. So now I get Cal, I get Baylor, I get
Mhm.
Indiana, I get Hawaii, and I get Fresno. So all five of these schools, and I mean, I get the D2s, the D3s, and
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But when it comes to my mindset and what I wanted to do, I'm like, all right, I want to get here. So, I could have went D1 AA. There was, the schools that was recruiting me, they like, you could come now.
Yeah.
Right after, but I'm like, all right, I wanted to go to Cal. I wanted to go to Cal.
Mhm.
So, but they was like, all right, so now you gotta I took winter classes too, but they like now you gotta take another college math. So I'm like, man, statistics was hard, bro. So I took them back to back to back, and that
Yeah.
was like another process of like knowing really what I wanted. Cause I went winter, spring, and summer with
Mhm.
statistics. Like back to back to back, and that it was hard. So that's why I say when I was getting in them tutor classes, I mean going in tutoring and talking to people who knew I was gonna get help from, so making sure that was happening. So that already canceled out. That canceled out Baylor, that canceled out Cal, that canceled out Indiana because they wanted me there in the spring,
Yeah.
and I had to
Gotcha.
take that college math in the spring. So that wasn't working. So I still had other classes too. I had a speech and a math class, those two classes.
Mhm.
So, Baylor, Cal, they didn't want to wait. They was like, all right, sorry, we can't, Fresno was like, we'll wait for you. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so if y'all gonna wait for me, I'm gonna make sure I do what I gotta do. So going to the WIN program at Mount Sac, uh
Mhm.
making sure that, I go up in there and I was getting the most help from my coaches, from Erica that was in there, they
Mhm.
was all, making sure like, all right, well, you got an opportunity right here. So, um, Fresno was like, we want you. You just got to pass them two classes with A's, with
Ooh.
A's. So
Ooh.
man, I had to take them classes. Or no, my speech class had to be an A, and I had to pass my math class. So
Got you. Got
yeah, my math class was I ended up getting a C.
you.
So man, that
C's get
passed me. I
degrees.
For sure. So, I ended up my bad. Yeah, yeah. That was in the winter. My bad. That was in the winter. I ended up passing in winter. So now I got to take speech and English in the spring, and those was
Got
the two that I had to get A's and B's. I ended
you.
up getting
Okay.
A's and B's in that to go to Fresno and make sure I did what I had to do. So now it's about that time. Like I passed my classes, and it's crazy too because this really when I knew God was like real, bro. Like for real. Because uh like we all we believe in God and things like that, but you gotta have like I won't say you gotta have it, but when those things come where you notice like
Hmm.
like what did that really just happen, like
Yeah.
so I what's it called, what's the test that is called that when you gotta take it before you get into college, like it was only at
Oh,
Mount Sac.
the
It's like a
you talking about?
Casey, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. You like the placement test.
Yeah, yeah, the placement. It was I forgot what it was called, but it was like another test that you had to take to make sure like you pass. You got to pass that to go. So if I
Oh, I
pass
know
all
what you're
them,
talking about. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. Man, I'm mad. I
Hmm.
forgot. But so once you pass all them classes, and if you didn't pass that, then it was over. So
Exactly.
I had to take that a week or 2 weeks before to make sure, and man, I ended up passing that, bro, and everything was just like I knew God was real for real on that. So now, it's time to go to Fresno. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ended up passing. Now it's summer, so it's time to go to Fresno. Time to go up there. Took my visit and everything, and man, it was just like that process was just crazy because it was just like coming from so much from JUCO to doing all that, and
Hmm.
just being driven.
And it's nonstop. It's nonstop. People don't understand it. Like there's no rest and during that process, man. And I just want you to share a little bit, not even just football, but how was your experience? Like you now far from home in California. You're still in California, but you're not like driving distance where you can 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just about 2, 3 hours,
Yeah, three
depending you
hours.
from home. So how was that experience for you being in college now and on your own and being in this environment, this college atmosphere?
So now eight, 18 years being in the house, 17 years being in the house, and when you know that you want to change your family life and your life, bro. So
Hmm.
now it's like, you know, this was more calling the family now, like, seeing how y'all doing and things like that, and just making sure like that I'm still focused. So,
Yeah, yeah.
it was them days, man. Like when I first got out there, like the first day I get to practice and everything, I'm a JUCO dude. They hate that.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
they put me right in the game. I mean, right in the starters and things like that. So just saying that to say like being away from the family because it was a tough day. Like I was getting
Yeah,
torched. They
yeah.
already I'm not knowing the plays yet. I'm getting torched. So
Hmm.
now I ain't got nobody to talk to. I'm like, man, I need my family right now. Like it's tough. So, I ended up calling my mom, calling my sister, calling my cousins, talking to my closest homeboy, my homeboy Sperm and them. Like, man, this shit tough out here. And
Hmm.
just, you gotta have a balance of knowing like, you also you doing this for yourself. You gotta make sure that you still on track, but you also, still gotta have your family there and like you
Yeah,
gotta control what you can control.
yeah.
So, I was trying to talk to the coaches and things like that, but I'm like, it just wasn't like that. These dudes, like my DB groups, we ain't close yet. We barely even know
Hmm.
each other. So, that was just tough, being away from home. But then like like I'm writing things down though. So I'm in my journal. I'm just remembering like what's things I wrote from Mount Sac. Like,
Hmm.
man, we got to make sure we own. So, I had them rough days, I had them up days, but you just got to be control. Like as much as you can, you got to be able to control all them emotions that happen when it come to football, when it come to outside of football, and all those type of things that just clutter
Yeah.
your mind. So, that's one thing that I was doing. I was just, writing things. I was in my journal. I was praying. It was just a lot that was going on. But I mean, being far from home, that was tough. But once, like three and a half hours, my family came out there, came
Hmm.
to a game and things like that. So, that was like a big help. But, everybody got different type of families. Everybody, got brothers, sisters, so things like that, so me not, being able to talk to certain people, that was just tough for me. Now it could be,
Mhm.
different for other people, so as far as, being away from home, that wasn't really that much of a hit to me because again, I was just so driven, focused, like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I know I gotta do this. I know I gotta make, so I mean, it was tough though, but
I think is you hit it right on the head, man. And this is something I experienced because I was the first one to go play sports on a scholarship. Of course, my brothers, my sisters, actually only one of my sisters really went to a university. The other ones didn't choose to, but it was like nobody told me what to expect. So I try to let these kids know once you leave, you gotta understand, you gotta like where you going, first of all. You gotta like the environment because I don't care how good you are in football. If you don't like the environment, that affects the way you play. If
for
you just
sure,
don't like, man, I don't even feel like getting up out of bed today just because I don't want to deal with what's going on in this city. Man, that plays a big role. So kids need to understand like where you go and what programs you pick. Man, you need to understand prior to you going to it. First of all, it's some growing pains regardless. You want to figure out things about yourself. You want to figure things about what you're lacking, the things you need to get better at. So don't get me wrong, as a man, you need to grow up. But at the same time, you do need to understand, okay, like this is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Either I'm going to go through this or I'm going to navigate in a different way. So I'm glad you was able to share that experience and how you was able to overcome that those things coming up. So, man, you actually ball out at Fresno State, man. You had a blessed career. You did your 2 years. I brought up some stats, man. Your career, you had 111 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. You had 6 interceptions for 76 yards return. You had a forced fumble. They say you ain't got no touchdown on a highlight. I saw you had a touchdown though.
yeah, man. Look, that's a touchdown, bro. Because look, just what they said. So I'm running, and now I dive for the pylon,
Yeah.
bro. My wrist hit it, and they
Uh-huh.
talking about the ball didn't touch the pylon, and at this
Uh
time, I'm like, bro, ain't no way. Like, long as it crossed, right? So I'm
yeah.
right here, and like, I got the ball right in front of me. Like, if you on the thing, but it ain't
Yeah.
out of bounds, it ain't nothing. So I'm like, man, they robbed me for that. But I was like, you know what? I was like, it is what it is. It's gonna look good on the highlight tape.
Exactly, exactly. So man, you ball out, you do your thing, man. What happens now? Football is done. What share with us that process from now? The season's over. We are getting ready for our pro day, and then what happens after that? And then I want to share how did we get into the Rams? The Rams.
Okay, so now the process is like football is over. Now I'm getting Facebook messages, I'm getting Twitter messages from all these agents. Agents is trying to get to me and I'm like, all right, I ain't never been through this. Like I'm you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So uh I forgot at the time. I think I was asking my teammates and things like that too, and just trying to figure out like, hey man, how do y'all pick these agents? How to
Yeah.
so um one agent like came to the game though. So when he came to, one of the games, we talked or whatever, he was like, I'm gonna be in contact with you, yada yada. So met him, met a couple of them actually through Fresno, like when I was at Fresno. So
Yeah.
now, they come to see me and things. So that was the first process of like getting an agent and things like that. And still taking classes, making sure, graduating and things like that. So now it's all right, so what, who am I gonna sign? How do I know you the best person for me? Things like
Hmm.
that. So everybody's process, is gonna be different. You're gonna have people to help you, and you're gonna have people that just probably aren't there. You have to figure it out yourself. So now, I end up working with this agent and things like that. So now pro day is coming up. So I stay in Fresno, so I'm like, all right, well, let's actually wait. No, 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 no. I ended up going back home. So I'm training out there in Rancho. So I'm out there training things now. Now I'm done. I'm like, all right, well now it's time for this process. So,
Hmm.
get the training facility, get the agent and things like that. And now I want to say we got like 2 months, 2 months and yeah, like maybe a week till pro day. So, that process is now you like you getting ready to be a professional. So now, you getting those meal preps, you getting, these workouts, you getting 3 workouts, you getting your weights, and then you also getting your stretching, your yoga, and then you also getting your speed. So, you got
Hmm.
all those type of workouts now, it's time to go. So, all that was like, a different process because, after that, it's probably 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Now you
Yeah,
got all
yeah,
this time, so you got to manage your time now to make sure when they not looking, you still got to have your mindset as like, all right, I'm getting ready for this great day,
nah,
two
yeah,
2 months from now. So now, those that's what's going on now. And now just that process, skipping to that. Now we pro day come, things didn't go how we needed them. My agent was my agent was pissed, because he wanted me to train somewhere else. But
yeah,
at the time, these guys was, who I was with them during Mount Sac,
hmm,
so ended up, being with them, and numbers wasn't what they needed to be. I I didn't get picked up by no team, so now uh another one of them processes where I'm not one of them top dudes to get this that. So now it's like, all right, well, now what? So at the time too, they had them local workouts, and then they had them
yeah,
3-day mini camps. So I ended up getting a 3-day mini camp with the Rams, I mean with the Buccaneers and the Texans. So, I go to those workouts and things like that. Mind you, I want to say in around November, this time in Fresno, we was making a new play, like a new formation for me, because they wanted
hmm,
I was going on offense. So, I'm feeling good. They give me a sweep. So that's just a play for me. So in practice, I ended up hurting my ankle. So that's why it was the Colorado State game that I had missed in
got you.
Fresno because my ankle. So that went on with me. So as I'm trying to, now that's in November. I got these
Hmm.
workouts in March. So, it never really healed up all the way. So, having those workouts that bothering me. And then also when it came to running, nickel, we
Hmm.
talked about that. So, coming running nickel and things like that, not able to, knowing what I'm doing with that, I got
Yeah,
those processes going. So, that wasn't working out for me. So, which was like, something on my end and some on another end I couldn't control. So
hmm,
now it's like, all right, man, now what? Like, what do I do? Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna be in the league?
yeah,
So, have those workouts. Now comes like May. Oh, no, like April, the East West Shrine game. So my agent ended up getting me in that. So I was able to, show my talents in that and go
and
ahead
that's
and
big. That's big to be in one of those.
yeah, so we in Florida. We in so now that that's a week of practice, and then it's time to game.
Hmm.
A lot of teams come together like an all-star game. So I played in that and was able to do some good things in that game. So now uh oh no, that's still college, huh? So I mean, well, now speaking on that, now the Rams hit me up again, come work out for us. We want to see you, private workout. So
And
I
this is
probably worked
still
out for the
2014.
nah, this is now past. We're in 2017.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so now my bad. It's so much, bro. Like I said, I ain't really talked about it or really like actually thought about all this in a while. So now we're in 2017. So those were the workouts and things like that. And the Rams probably worked me out like 4 times, and then including a local workout. So wherever you was from, they'll let you just come out, and if your agent good enough to bring you in and get you your
Yeah,
name in there, they end up doing that. So now we're still in 2017. Now the Rams ended up signing me. So I finally ended up getting signed by the Rams for the preseason. And then went to preseason with them. They say I have what they needed and things like that. So now the rest of 2017, I wasn't on the team, so I missed out that
gotcha,
season. So
gotcha.
that was just another like our workout time to
Hmm.
get right. And so now yeah, that was the process with the Rams, and just being thankful to have that opportunity to just see how it is. And now at this time, I'm like, all right, I know what I need to do. I need to make sure
Hmm.
like I know my plays. I need to know X, Y, and Z positions. I need to know all this because it's you get paid up there, so you get
Exactly.
paid. So
Exactly.
you got to know all that. You ain't doing right, they're gonna let you
Hmm.
go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that process was like up and down for me. But like I said, going through all the things that I went through, I wasn't like, all right, I'm done. Like this, I'm gonna just let this, maybe it's not for me. Nah, because like I said, coming from JUCO, coming from breaking my leg in high school, like
Hmm.
the road just been bumpy for me.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, share that because the listeners they probably don't know. Like, oh, after I go play, I'm just gonna get a call or whatnot. Share how your agent, how because football is a relationship. Everything for the most part is relationship based. And even though you Glass, you balled out in college and things of that sort, if you don't have that right agent to get you in the workouts, you're pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
not getting nothing. So please just go over because you talked about a little bit, but tell if you don't have the right agent, it's pretty hard for you to get these workouts or get in these doors.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, well, that was on me because, like, I mean, things are what they are, and I don't really like to, talk down on people or say, what
Yeah.
they, But I mean, my agent was a cool agent and things like that. But when you like, as far as calling people and things like that, my agent was pretty good on the NFL part. So when it came, mind you, it was already from not going with the group that he wanted me to
Yeah.
go to, and then not running a good 40 and things like that. So already missing that opportunity. So, um, now, I get to work out with the Rams and things like that. And then after the Rams, it was kind of like, I'm not hearing nothing. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm calling, hey, what's up? Like, we got any more workouts? It's still only no, August. Now it's all because that was preseason. So I'm like, it's only August. Like, what's up? Like preseason was over. Now it's time to cut the roster, to 56 or
Hmm.
whatever that at that time So um now, like I said, so 2000 through 2017, I'm just waiting. My agent's not doing nothing, not no workouts, no nothing. So now it's like, all right, do I and you gotta pay them. So,
Yeah.
so now it's like, all right, well, if you're not doing nothing for me, you're not calling nobody for me, then what are we here for? What are we still, having this contact for? If you're not helping me, I can't do anything for you.
Hmm.
So
Now is that a
um
retainer? Is that a retainer, or do you have to pay monthly for your agent?
what do you mean?
Like, so what a retainer do is like based off the work he does, do you pay him, or does he get paid like monthly, like this month he get paid
Oh,
like a
so
bill?
so I mean, if it just depends on, what y'all talk about and what y'all agree on. So at
Gotcha.
that time, I had to pay him back for, he was the like helping me out, letting me use cars and things like that, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that was like what we talked about and things like that. So now it's like, all right, well, I gotta give that back. So
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
after that process, it was just like, okay, like I don't really need nothing else now, because we're not really working towards anything else. But when it goes like when you're in a season and things like that, now it's like, okay, well, you find a percentage on, what me and the agent are gonna, give and how much I make, how much you
Yeah.
able to get me throughout the contract, and then how much I play through the season. So um after the season, then that's when the agent gets paid his percentage, whatever
Hmm.
y'all talk about.
Got you, man. And I think because a lot we don't understand that dynamic of how that plays in, and just for you sharing that, I think that's great. So the Rams it didn't work out. We sit out that 2017 year. We then make it to the CFL. How do you like the CFL? First of all, how do you get to CFL, and then how do you like the CFL?
Man, it was crazy, bro. That process was different because now I'm like, and at that time, coming from Mount Sac, coming from Fresno, doing all these things that I like am happy about, things that, are happening for me, these great things. I'm like, man, it's NFL or nothing. So
Hmm.
now, I'm like, all right, damn, I ain't got this NFL stuff. Like nobody coming to get me. My 40 and things like that wasn't the best. So what's next? So um now I'm just hearing Vernon Adams and Canadian Football League, Vernon Adams. We like VA up there, like,
Yeah.
so obviously something is up there. He's out there
Hmm.
going crazy. He's out there still playing football, having fun, so Now
For
it's like,
those who don't know, Vernon Adams from Dina as well went to Oregon. So just to give y'all a heads up who Vernon Adams is, if y'all didn't
yeah, my
know.
bad. Yeah, VA. So Pasadena native. So now I'm like, all right, well, that's somebody from the city. I want to
Hmm.
go up there too. I still want to play football. I don't care where it's at this point. And it's levels to the football life. And so now it's like, all right, well, shit, you could play a year or two in the CFL and get back to the
Hmm.
NFL. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go up there, play ball and just see what goes on from there. So now, no agent, no nothing. So I'm just still working out, still just like, all right, at some point, something gonna happen, whatever. Or
Hmm.
now I get a tweet from a guy, I don't remember his name, but this is 2018 now. So 2018, I get a tweet like, hey man, you still want to play football? Like I'm the director manager for the Montreal Alouettes. Like, do you still want to play? I'm like, yeah, I still want to play. Like, what
Hmm.
do I have to do? This and that. So, you know, um, have to get my passport, have to make sure, nothing was wrong with, like, as far as getting in trouble with the police and things like that. Cause
Hmm.
you got to go up north, you got to go across the
Yeah.
border. You can't have none of that when you go across that border. So everything was good. I never was one of them type of dudes to get in trouble and things like that. So I'm like, all right, yeah, we good with that. So end up going up there and having to do like a tryout. So
Yeah.
it was like another one of those week tryouts and things like that, like a week for it. So go out there, and now, man, these workouts these like going up there in the CFL is so different. So like,
Hmm.
you already get a head start. So
Yeah.
as a receiver, you could be back 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, running full speed, and you can't you like once they hit the line, they got a cadence that they go with the quarterback. So that's already something I'm like, oh man, like these dudes is running at me, things like
Hmm.
that. So um going up there, that was already tough, so um is very different, So 12 dudes on the field, and the extra dude is either a receiver or a tight end, or it could be a
Yeah.
running back, on the offensive side. Defensive
Hmm.
side, it could be a DB, so or another linebacker. So as that process is going, and now it's like also the field is 120 yards
Yeah.
and 65 width. So now it's way bigger.
Hmm.
The end zone is 20 yards itself. So
Hmm.
the red zone is already, what I'm saying, it's all different from the
Yeah.
NFL. So going up there, it's like another change. Like, man, like when can I get comfortable? Man,
Hmm.
I don't think I was really ever comfortable until, when it came to like kind of those last years, or I would just say like at Mount Sac, my senior year in Fresno, when I went up there and like I was just I just knew more things. I was more educated on my experiences, and
Yeah.
the people who was able to tell me this, that, and the other. So the CFL was just a different vibe, man. And like going up to Montreal, they all speak French. Like
Mhm.
that's their
Oh,
first
yeah.
language. So when I go up there and they're speaking French to me, I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. So
Mhm.
and I remember going to Subway, man, trying to get some food, and I'm giving them my American money. They're not telling me nothing. So I'm already giving them more money than, because
Yeah.
I didn't change my money. I didn't do the ratio thing. So, it was a lot of different things that was happening up there in Canada as far as like my first year. So that was 2018 of, my first year. And um also having like coaches that, when we went up there, it was just different because the kind of coach that we had, our defense coordinator, was an old school dude. So
Mhm.
when we go up there and we trying to ask the vets, how we do this, how we do that, man, it's funny because like after the process, we realized why it was that. Because one of the old heads had told us, one of the the dudes who've been in the CFL for 6+ years, whatever. He like, yeah, he told us, what I'm saying, y'all got to figure it out. We're not supposed to help y'all. So it was real old school. So it was even tougher.
That's
So
nuts. That's nuts.
yeah, so it was just way different for that 2018 season. So going through the whole year, trying to just figure these things out and ask coaches here and there and like get information from coaches and like our DB coaches and things like that. It was just tough. So
Mhm.
um end up getting cut too. I got cut week 10 because, it just wasn't our year wasn't even the best either. So
Yeah.
from day one, we just trying to figure it out, what's going on. And then me coming in as that, it was real tough. So that was another one of them, like, all right, another curve in the road.
Man, I think you hit, man, you said a lot, but I want to focus on because I've been on that spectrum of playing, starting, and then getting cut. How do you stay motivated? Because us as football players, we take it personal. Like they cut me. When really, honestly, it's I understood this once I got older. It's a business, and it has really nothing to do sometimes with you at all. Sometimes it's stuff you can't control. But what motivates you after you get cut? To keep going on. Of course, you want to keep reaching your goal, but it feel like sometimes you're doing everything you can do, you get cut. Something just not working out in your hands. And of course, you've been through it and we talked about it before. You don't have to go into that, but what just keeps you motivated for after situation like that happens? What keeps you motivated to like, hey, I want to still be playing, I still want to be balling. Share that with
Yeah.
us.
So everybody got their like different types of way to keep going and what the person next to them or family and things like that. I realize my thing is like I'm afraid to fail myself. So like when I know
Mm,
like how good I am and the things that I accomplish in life, I'm like, man, I can't keep failing,
yeah,
like and ain't nothing wrong with failing, you know what I'm saying? Like I take it's either a blessing or a lesson. Like it ain't
exactly.
really failing to me. It's a lesson for me because it's
Exactly.
obviously something that, it could have been that I've done wrong or something I just can't control when it comes
Hmm.
to coaches and things like that. Cause like you said, when you older and you understand it is a business. So as far as like being motivated and things like that, you just got to figure out like what do I want to do? Is this for me? Because like
Yeah.
when those things happen, that's like how you said, when you're growing up and things, you realize who you are. So like when it starts getting hard and you like, all right, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep playing ball? Do I want to keep striving towards getting towards ball, or do I want to stop, give up, and go work, what I'm saying, wherever else. And that was
Hmm.
just one thing to me. I'm like, football is probably like sports is one of the easiest jobs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we've been
Damn.
playing sports since we was 5, and it's
Exactly.
just always been fun, So once you realize like I get paid for doing, what I love,
Hmm.
man, let me keep making sure, you know what I'm saying? And then there's also the love for it because we've been playing this for no money.
Yeah.
And it's always been fun, and it's something that's just in us. God gave us these abilities to do, these things, these play,
Exactly.
athleticism and all that. So you start to realize like, all right, I don't want to get into that, to that world of working just yet, or just continue to keep playing this game and keep learning as well, because you start learning a lot more things outside of football. You
Yeah.
start learning businesses, you start learning to invest in your money, you start
Hmm.
learning to do all those things. So I feel like as far as like still playing the game and also like being around guys that have these stories and have these like all this information that can continue to give you. So that's what I look at it as. Like, it's all just this information and there's still this love for, the game that I have. And also not even like mentioning you traveling too. So when you
Hmm.
living out there, man, you starting to realize, there's a whole different type of things outside of your city, outside of the food that you love to eat and things like that,
Hmm.
these places, these views that you get to see. And it's like it's an amazing part. So, all that is a part of why like how my motivation is still going. And like also like this is just me of getting cut, and it's like, bro, I'm a great player. So
Hmm.
I'll be damned if I let them cut me and I not come back and be able to, still show what I got. And
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
realize like it's not really much of a like a get back or like to show them like aha, like I'm back, but it's just to
Hmm.
myself, like, man, you better
Yeah.
than that. Like, you could do
Hmm.
that. So that's my motivation to myself. And like some people could be like that, some people are different, but that's my motivation. That's still what keep me going. So I just know I could still be in there.
No, that's awesome, man. And you got that dog. You got to have that dog. I mean, a lot of people sometimes that fire it gets buried, and you need sometimes you use that motivation, that spark, that gasoline, however they say it. But as long as you keep doing that, you keep having that fire, man. Keep playing, man. And I just got two more questions for you. And I appreciate you for your time again. But
Yo, all good.
what and who keeps you grounded and guides you during the ups and downs of football and life? Because we talk about, just as men, because I understand football is just not everything. You got other stuff going on. You got family, you got relationship, you got juggle, you got balance everything. Who do you reach out, or what do you lean on when times are good or bad on the football field and life?
Mainly, like right now, because and as a football and life, like I reach out to God. I start praying. I start like I post and read my daily scriptures every morning. So
Yep.
those things. That's the main thing right there. To where it just when these things are happening, it's just like, all right, what I'm saying, like you can't just get down in the tank.
Hmm.
And and then I also realized too, my friends that surround me, and also you too, because y'all are people who are like open, if you need me, whatever you need, whatever we want to talk about and things like that. And then also, my mom as well too, because like going through all this, and like how you said football, man, it's like, you know, it's football. Nobody
Hmm.
really, they don't really care what goes on
Yeah.
outside, some, I'll say some,
Yeah.
and some do care, what I'm saying? They, how's the family, how's your mental? And so um those are the things that help me stay grounded. And then I also look back at, what I've done, and what is like, what was I doing in those times that was happening like good in my life,
Hmm.
And as I thought about it, man, I was praying a lot. I was like in my book, writing things. So those are the things, that help me a lot and make sure that I like am just not, my mind is just isn't everywhere, and I'm just making sure that I'm at peace and in certain ways and certain things, to where it's just like I'm just not going crazy, because it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot, life is a lot for people, so,
Hmm.
and it's hard to figure that out sometimes, I really didn't figure that out until I say like a couple years ago,
Yeah.
because I was looking for, things and people who I would think that'll reach out, or or the give me this information. And it was just hard like realizing like those people wasn't like who and what I thought it'd be. So I mean, that's my motivation, and those are the things that keep me grounded. And people like you, people like I also had a mentor named Anthony out there in Fresno. He also
Hmm.
helped me too. He's also a pastor too. So
Mm.
when I was out there as
Good.
well, yeah, I was talking to him, and like he reaches out, and then like it's God though, because at the times that I really needed to, he reaches out. Hey man, how you doing? Just checking in. It's like,
Yeah.
man, these are the craziest, like the perfect times. So
Hmm.
we talk here and there, and it's just like it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, like definitely needed that, because when we talk to God, we don't really get a physical voice, or like be able to talk to him like this. But you got to pay attention to those signs that happen. And
Hmm.
when that's when those people call, those are those signs, like answer,
Exactly.
talk to them, and they just trying to see how you feeling. And
Exactly.
it was tough around those times, to where getting released and things like that, not want to talk to nobody, not want to let them
Hmm.
know what's going on. But I realized like that's them signs that we've been looking for.
Hands down, man, and something I can attest to. Just going through things in life as well, man. Communicate. I'm not even just talking to you. I'm just talking to everybody. Just communicate, man. We as men, we do not share what's going on in our
Yeah.
lives, and we have to communicate with others. But do it with people you feel like you can trust. Everyone you cannot trust with your information, what's going on. So talk to those people. Reach out. Rather, of course, we serve the Lord and Jesus Christ. If you don't serve him, whoever you talk to, man, just make sure you guys are communicating, because that stuff can have you go mentally go through some things that you really don't need to, and all you have to do is communicate from the beginning, man. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you was able to share that, man. And this is my last question for you, man. What advice could you share for the young guys with regarding finances, man. You know, I don't know if it's something, you know, once you got paid, whatnot, that you buy something crazy, whatnot, whatever it is. What is something that you can share, you know, when these guys, rather now it's in college, they get these NIL deals, or they make it to the NFL, they make it to CFL, and they get these big paydays. What is something that you would recommend or just share with them that can help them, so they make sure they're not doing nothing too crazy?
Man, get a bank account. Put your money in the bank, you know what I'm saying? But like just make sure like you ain't spending on, these crazy things. Like, when obviously you take the route and you grind for, the money that you want and for the things that you want, but then you got to start realizing too, like, it go fast. So
Yeah.
whether, when you want to help your family, or when you say you got bills, you got car notes, you got, all these things, you gotta kind of realize like, I gotta be able to save this just in case for a rough day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's type of things that happen when it come to different type of states, different things that we can't control. So you got to make sure that you save up shit. That if you know how to do it, you make sure you invest in the right things. You make sure you like you talk to people, and just make sure that like you're not just spending it on your clothes, your shoes, your things like
Mhm.
that. So I mean, not really too much to say about that, but just, what I'm saying, just make sure you spending it on the right things. And if you don't know how you're doing it or things like that, make sure you like try to reach out to people. Like you said, that communication is very important. So as far as that, like, you just got to make sure that you ain't spending on the wrong things. And like, you gotta also have your schedule of things of what's needed. Like, what does it need for right now? Like, what are you getting it for? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And then they understand, regardless of how much money you're making, football seasonal. Okay. So you only get paid when you playing. So
right.
once those checks stop, I don't care if you're in the NFL, whatever, those checks gonna stop for a minute. So if you blow it, okay, so you do gotta learn how to manage, man. But Glass, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man. Do you just have any last words that just share regardless? Just on your heart, anything you want to share? Go ahead, man.
I'll just say like just off top, like even if y'all gotta reach out to Ness, man, Ness is a guy that like, is always gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying? He ain't like gonna make you feel no type of way. Like I feel like everything that I've like wanted to express to him and like share with him, you always help me out with those type of things. So that's just one thing like I really wanna like let these guys know, because even like now having this interview is like making me think about so much. And I'm just like, being a free agent right now, it's like, what's next? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I still know and I still believe that, my time is still with, football and things like that. But now also start thinking like, all right, well, if I don't get a call, you know what I'm saying? Just how you said, those checks can't stop. So,
Mhm.
now it's like, what are those things that's, gonna happen next and things like that. But speaking to you and things like that always help me, whether it's football or life or any other issues. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Last thing that I want to say in this interview, and I also appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, man. Always got your back, always, man. And blessings to you, man. We hopefully get this call. And the great thing about it, man, we got the XFL, we got all these other
Yeah,
leagues. So actually you can be in the States so we can actually see you in
yeah,
person, man.
yeah.
So
So
man, blessings to
God
you,
got that plan.
man. Exactly. Blessings to you, man. And I appreciate you very much. And when you get out here, man, let's connect, man.
Definitely, bro. Appreciate you again, man.
All right, no problem, bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, yep.